Okay. So that was the finale. I did figure that they weren't gonna wrap up everything because that would be pretty tough. Um, and I also read before we saw the episode earlier. I read that they've already confirmed that Captain America 4 is like confirmed, and it's going to have the showrunner of this show is going to be working on it.
Okay.
So yeah, all the stuff that they seeded in this show, I assume they're going to be continuing in that, whether that's a movie or another show. I would assume it's going to be a movie.
And what was the things that they didn't finish up on?
Well, they still have Zemo as a possibility that they could continue with. They have John Walker working with Julia Louis-Dreyfus's character, and they have Sharon Carter and her thing.
I thought there was like something outside of those things.
Yeah, and then I mean, there's still like Sam and Bucky, like they're obviously going to be central figures in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking like, so is Cap? I'm assuming. I don't know if Cap 4 is going to take place with any of these characters other than like maybe Bucky and Cap. Falcon / Captain America, or if it's going to have, or is this show going to have like a second season type of thing
before the movie? Like, I would imagine they would have confirmed a second season. Maybe not. I don't know. Yeah, I would think a movie would work pretty well. Like have the movie be like a culmination of the loose ends from this show. I think that would work pretty well. The one thing I'm a little interested about is how they're going to, because they have, Sharon Carter was confirmed power broker, which we kind of guessed pretty early on. And she was on the phone. My first thought was maybe she's on the phone with Julia Louis-Dreyfus's character, Val is her name. I was wondering if they were going to go more in depth on her character, but they didn't. So I guess I could just talk about it. She is a character from the comics who was sort of like a love interest to Nick Fury. What's her full name? Just Contessa Valentina Allegra de Fontaine. Yeah, she was like Nick Fury's love interest, and she was later revealed to be like a Hydra sting agent, and she eventually went by the name Madam Hydra, which has actually already been used. She was the second Madam Hydra in the comics. The first Madam Hydra was named like Orphelia or something, and she was actually in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So,
okay.
This would be the second iteration of that character, if that's the direction they're going. I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do with this character, but
she's here.
It's interesting. Yeah, I'm interested. Like, they picked that actress to play her, so I'm like, oh, well, that's interesting. It's interesting because she is. I think she. Let me just. I don't want to be wrong about this and say it out loud. Yeah, no, never mind. But other than that, yeah, she might be working with Sharon Carter, and again, my initial thought was, they said like people will have a lot of toys or whatever she said, that she could like set things up for people. Maybe that's going towards like the Thunderbolts. Maybe I've heard some people speculating about that. Like this team of kind of villains who like masqueraded as heroes but were like doing villainous things undercover. Zemo was one of them. So maybe that's what they're doing. They're setting up like a villainous team, and Valentina would be like the Nick Fury of that, where she's going around like Nick Fury did in the first phase, like gathering together these people.
Right.
That could be a thing. Maybe. I don't know. Uh,
Sort of like a Suicide Squad.
what are we? Yeah, maybe. Maybe.
Okay.
But that's just that. That's just like with those loose ends. But talking more about the actual like big content of the episode, it was good. It was pretty good. Nothing like
Yeah.
crazy. Nothing
Yeah.
crazy or unexpected.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just don't have a lot to say about it really, which is interesting because I had a lot to say when we finished WandaVision.
Yeah, I was actually expecting probably the same level of conversation from at least from your end. I thought you were gonna bring up some things, but
I mean, I haven't really seen what people are saying about this, and I mean, we just watched it, so it's still sinking in. But I'm like,
that's fair.
I guess my first thing I would talk. Yeah, you want to talk about something?
No, go ahead. All
right. The first thing I was going to talk about was the Flag Smashers.
Okay.
And how I think they were probably the weakest part of this season. This show, maybe rather. I feel like they weren't. I don't know. I think they could have been done better. They could have either been done like more sympathetic or more evil, but they kind of just like go this line.
Middle.
Yeah, they don't go too far in either direction. Yeah, I don't think that's very interesting.
Okay.
I don't know. It's this thing where I can see where they're coming from. I can totally see their motivations. I just don't think there's a lot of depth beyond that. Right?
Yeah. I can definitely see that. For me, I think I probably just want more from the main girl.
Mm-hmm.
I think.
Yeah.
Because I think the rest of them were fine. I think like they're okay. Like it's not.
I mean, they had the one who liked Captain America, and then he got killed, and that was like the most. He was the one who got anything beyond just being like a grunt.
Yeah, that's fair.
I don't know. I feel like if they didn't go the way of they kill people, which they did, or if they went the way of they kill a lot of people, which they didn't, but they just kind of, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, I don't know. That's one I might have to sit on because like I don't know how I feel about them because I like you said, I think I really do like their motivations. And I think that's really like it's something I wouldn't have thought of watching like Endgame,
right?
Or
yeah, and that's
Spider-Man,
really
right?
Appreciative of what they're doing so far is like the effects of what happened after Endgame. They're very well realized.
Exactly.
I just don't. I guess I wish they would have done more with it, but it's a 6-episode show and it has to share the time with all the stuff about Captain America and Sam like struggling with whether he deserves or even wants that mantle. They have to do Bucky and all his stuff about the Winter Soldier, bringing back Zemo, doing the Sharon Carter stuff, and doing all the John Walker stuff.
Right.
There's a lot of stuff they have to do.
Yeah, it's a lot. And even still with all of that, I still don't. You said you think that the flag smashing was probably the weakest. I honestly will argue I think it's the power broker stuff, but that kind of leads into flag smashing because she's directly like.
I mean,
but I just felt like it was just weird.
I think you're right. It was weird because they were building up the power broker a few times. People just kind of guessed it would be Sharon Carter because she was really shady. And then it was, and then she didn't do anything. And I understand that she's going to be a big player moving forward, but I wish they wouldn't have seeded it so strongly because that kind of made me expect that they were going to do something more with her in this show.
Now, had they just brought up the power broker and not shown Sharon, I think it would have been a little bit different. Like, just have this entity that is talked about a lot where they are seeding it, but you don't see who it is, right? And then she comes up later, or they come up later. Then it's like, oh, okay, like, oh shit, that's the power. Like, I didn't know it was Sharon. You know what I mean?
I guess,
that'd be a lot like shocking. I think,
I think they
but
do need to like reintroduce her because we haven't seen her since like Civil War. I think like casual
yeah,
viewers wouldn't remember her if they did it
that's
that way.
fair. I guess it would have been different had they just made her a refugee, right? So she's like kind of
Maybe.
part of this GRC thing, but she's also a power broker. But you don't obviously you don't know it. They're just two separate things at this current point, and you're just like, oh, like later on you're like, oh, it was her.
Maybe.
I don't know. Also, I don't understand her reasoning behind it. I guess that's also I'm like
They didn't
confused
really-
on what's her motivation.
They didn't really
And maybe
explain the whole relationship between her and the Flag Smashers. Like she organized that creepy doctor guy to make the serum,
Mhm.
and then provided the serum to the Flag Smashers, and then they just fucked off. And it's like, I think that's the extent of it, but
yeah, but I don't understand her motivation behind why is she trying to
is she,
get
like,
muscle
evil now?
or yeah, I don't.
why is she gonna be a villain?
Is she even evil? Like she's just like she's supplying people
Is
with
it just greed? Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm like, is it just greed? Because I didn't get that from Civil War, Sharon. So
Well, if they're doing the whole, maybe like they're the whole thing about her being disillusioned and being like, being a fugitive for so long has just kind of disillusioned her with the virtue of good. I don't really know.
yeah, I just don't get it.
I think I don't know. I think it's one of those things where maybe they could have focused it a bit more
on
The thing is, like,
on her or like on Flag Smashers. Or just
on
in
neither.
general.
I think on neither. Like, I don't know. I think you need the Flag Smashers. Take out the Power Broker stuff a little bit. Because here's the thing. Everything else I think was done great. I love all the stuff with Sam, Bucky, and John Walker, and Zemo. All that stuff is great. I just think that you missed the mark on the Flag Smasher stuff and the Power Broker stuff. But that's kind of a big deal, I think.
Yeah,
It's almost like you have 4 villains in this show. You have Zemo, John Walker, the Power Broker, and the Flag Smashers.
Yeah.
In a way.
Yeah. In a way. But still, the Zemo and John Walker thing makes sense. The Flag Smasher thing makes sense. It's just not executed too well.
Agree.
And I still don't feel it as strongly. Like I'm like, this is the worst. Like that's the worst villain ever. I still think they're okay, but that's just the thing is they're just okay compared to everything else in the show. That's pretty strong, pretty on like the great side of storytelling.
Yeah.
I really think. Like, even if you don't give all the other Flag Smashers character, I think I would just wanted more from the main girl. Like, it's like I was constantly like, there's something there. It's potential, but it never got to his, like, pop. You know what I mean? Like, something that made me go, I like this. I like this character. You know what I mean? It was just kind of like she's just a fill-in for something. She's just a fill-in for the tie-in for all these things.
I don't know. I don't want to sound harsh on it, but it's like I don't know. I just kind of lost all sympathy once they started killing people who didn't need to be killed. Like I can still sympathize with villains who kill people,
like John Walker. I understand why he did it.
Yeah, but I mean, like more in like a. I'm kind of mean in a different sense, like in a more traditional like hero villain show.
Okay, fair.
I'm trying to figure out how do I want to word this, but it's just kind of like I felt that it wasn't necessary to have them kill people who didn't. Like, I could understand if they killed people who were like coming after them with guns, even if they weren't trying to kill, even if they were just like gonna be arrested and they tried. But these people, they had him tied up and they were about to leave, and then they just bombed the whole place. I think that's where I was like that, That, and it was just like out of nowhere. Like you didn't see anything up to that point other than robbery,
Yeah, it's fair. It was kind of weird because she's just like, we need to make a point. But I'm like, why? When you have a following and a backing, and I feel like
their whole goal is to make a point. I understand that. I
Yeah,
understand
but
saying,
that's kind of a point within itself.
well, I think I completely understand, right? I completely understand. Like, we haven't. Oh my god,
We haven't shown.
No, it's the thing where it's like what they've been doing up to this point hasn't been working, and they haven't been heard by the people in power, right? So they're going to more extreme measures to try and get their message heard, which I don't like. I don't know if it was purposeful, but saying it out loud like that makes me think like it makes me get a connection to like the protests that happened in the last year, where a lot of African Americans were saying, you're like all these news places and everyone's calling us out for these violent protests, but we have not been heard. We've been oppressed for so long. We need to speak in a language that you people understand.
Right. Okay.
And if that was an intentional thing, that's actually kind of clever in a way.
Right.
I
get that.
But I don't know. Maybe I want something more clear cut. Maybe I'm just dumb.
What do you? Nah. Speak on it. What do you mean by like clear cut though? Like,
I don't know. I just like. I wanted more. I wanted them to be more clear, but maybe that would just make them more. I don't know. I think this is gonna be something I need to like think about for a while.
Yeah, that's why I said I feel like I need to sit on it because
I can't really enunciate why I don't like them as much as I like the other stuff in the show.
But I also kind of like the whole. I did kind of like the whole speech with her and Falcon and them talking about it, like. Because I don't get a lot of that in my like superhero shit, so I think it's cool when they do it.
I loved the scene they had at the funeral.
Yes, yeah.
That one, is that the one you were talking about?
Yep.
Yeah, I loved that scene. That was the best part of the show for me with that character. I don't know. I don't think that really amounted to much. I think they kind of I think they kind of pulled out of that just to like go into the next action sequence, right? Because like John Walker came in, like cut things out. He's like, "Oh, you tricked me. You were just trying to stall me." And I feel that maybe I think it might have been more interesting if that more informed on her character more in the future.
Yeah, okay.
Where she starts doing things a little differently based on what Sam told her.
Yeah, I agree.
That might have been a little interesting. I don't know.
Also, kind of wish they didn't kill her. Like,
yeah.
Like,
I mean, here's the thing. I think her like the scene at the funeral with that talk that was really good. I think my second favorite scene was not involving her, but was like Sam talking to everyone after her death and made the point of like she fucking died because of what you people are doing. She died to fight what you're doing. You need to think about that.
You're right.
I thought, and that made me think like her death actually like served a purpose for the story that I think kind of worked.
Yeah. Yep. All right. I redact what I said then. It makes sense. I guess maybe it's just like how she died. And then her saying like,
yeah, I mean, because that kind of goes more into like the power of her. Yeah, the I'm sorry thing. I mean, I already mentioned that while we were watching. I don't think that. I just like you should have been sorry before this because you've been killing a lot of people.
And it's weird because I actually kind of like when she's like the fight me thing because at this point she's just like I just need a. But I don't know.
Vent her frustration. I mean, she's just a character who is built on a lot of pent up frustration. At everything that's been happening to her that's outside her control. I think that's compelling. I just wanted it to be expanded on more, maybe that's my problem. I just wanted it to be a little more expanded upon, but I know that can't really happen because of the length of the show and all the other stuff.
You took out the sharing cars.
Yeah. You
could.
Maybe that's it. Maybe yeah. I think that would be a big thing.
Yeah, other than that though, everything else is I even kinda like the direction John Walker kinda went in, like towards the end. I kinda like I it's weird because it ends like kind of happy for him, but
I don't know.
like,
They
you
just
still
didn't.
murder someone.
They didn't really focus a lot on him this episode. Like the last episode had the post credit scene that seemed like really sinister, and then he came in, he fought some people, and then he decided he was gonna help people because that's what a good person should do. Then he hung out with Bucky. He didn't really say much. They made some
That's
jokes.
the part that's kind of weird for
and
me.
then
is,
he
like,
just showed up later with fucking Julia Louis-Dreyfus with his new outfit. And it's like, okay.
Yeah, maybe just a little bit more connective tissue for me.
Yeah.
It just, I think I was okay with the beginning and him like trying to help the people. I thought that part was cool. I think after that scene though, it's kind of weird for me. Because like he starts hanging out with Bucky and then he starts cracking jokes and I'm like, what? But you're out for like vengeance for these people, like. You really wanted to murder these people, and all of a sudden you're just like, oh, okay. So
yeah,
I don't know.
It's a little disappointing just because, like, I think he was just so compelling up to that point, and I don't think there's anything like uncompelling. I just think it like could have been expanded upon more. But again, they had a lot to do. I think this show could have done with maybe one more episode if they wanted to do everything they wanted to do, or they could have cut out the less relevant parts.
Oh, my mom wants me to put the chicken wings on. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. One more episode probably would have did it justice, just to work out the small little kinks, maybe. Trying to think, is there anything? I'd like the stuff with Isaiah.
That was interesting for me. I didn't really know how to feel about it because like the whole thing was that Sam was like, "Why don't we tell the world about you?" And Isaiah's like, "No, I want to remain dead. I want to remain hidden." And then Sam kind of like goes and puts him up in a museum and stuff. And it's like, I don't know how I would feel about that if I were him.
Yeah, I think. For me, I kind of want to think about it, but like, but I feel like, it's hard to say. I want to get my thoughts together so it's not just sound like BS.
Right. It's interesting. I don't know how to feel about it either. Those are my initial thoughts when I saw it. I'm like, didn't this guy specifically tell you that he wanted to remain hidden because he was afraid of what the world would do to him if?
Yeah. That's what I'm saying though. With that, is like he's afraid of what the world is doing, but Sam literally sat there on TV and kind of like spoke. Like, I don't care if like. It's kind of like Sam was like basically representing Isaiah, so it's like. But I don't want to just be the representation of you. I want you to be your own representation also, kind of thing. If that makes sense. Like,
maybe.
Like, I felt like, damn, it's so hard to say. I want to get my thoughts together, but I can't. I'm like trying to still think about the scene and also try to get my words together. Because I don't necessarily think it was completely weird. I feel like I still understand it. Right. And I also understand why you would like. He did say like, I don't want to be in the like. No, the like, don't do that.
Yeah, I thought it was really powerful though. Like, I think it was pretty damn powerful. I like how the show ended on that. Yeah, that was neat. But if we want to talk about something else, one thing that I just really liked was when Bucky was with Carly, and he's like, "You're gonna remember all the ones you killed. Trust me." And I'm like, "Oh, that's deep for him. Like, this guy knows what he's talking about."
Yeah, I like Bucky a lot in this show.
Yeah, he was really good.
They do a lot of interesting stuff with him.
He might have had like the best overall character arc that was just really consistent, and it got everything it wanted to do done.
I think Sam was pretty consistent too.
Yeah, definitely. I think they were both done really well, which is really important considering they're the main characters.
And the show is literally named after them.
um, but yeah, like everything I think was like I didn't. I remember going over the show as a whole. I remember back towards the start of the show, I was like, all this stuff with Sam and his family. I wonder if it's like gonna go anywhere. And I think overall, I did enjoy it a lot when they did go back there, like to fix up the boat. I think that was some of my favorite stuff. So I liked that stuff. All the stuff with Bucky, just going through his whole character arc was great. Zemo was a lot of fun, and I loved how he just he just killed the last of the super soldiers just from prison. Like
Zemo always gets what he wants.
Zemo is one of the most powerful characters in this universe, dude. That was great.
Has every evening where he hasn't got what he wanted? Nope. Because he always Zemo gets what he wants. He destroyed the serum. He killed the Flag Smashers.
He killed the doctor who made the serum. He killed the doctor who made the serum, then destroyed the serum, then killed the super soldiers.
Yes, dude. He gets what he fucking wants, dude.
He still needs to kill fucking John Walker, though. But yeah, I really like John Walker for the most part. There was, the stuff at the end was a bit weird, but I love that. The stuff with Isaiah Bradley was great. And the fight scenes were good for the most part. There was a couple like camera stuff that I wasn't vibing with, but
same. I remember my thing with like, especially like live action hand to hand, is like, please just keep the camera still. Stop like stop like going back and forth. Like I really hate flashy like camera work. Yeah. Like just literally a one shot is good for me.
Yeah, I think especially in this episode towards like the first 20 minutes, I think there was like a lot of like I love the stunt work and like the choreography that they have. I just wish I could like see it better.
Yeah, I agree. Totally agree.
That was probably one of my biggest complaints about this episode, honestly. Like in those first 20 minutes, I'm just like, ooh, this could be a lot better.
Yeah, like the whole Sam fighting the dude, I was like, I kind of want to like see it a little bit better.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree.
And yeah, I really liked Falcon's big speech at the end. I think he's done a good job of now. It's like, all right, cool. He's Captain America. That's what the show wanted to do, and they did it well. Good job.
And in both WandaVision and this show, we got different outfits.
Yeah.
How did you feel about that? How you feel about Sam's more so?
I think it's I think it's good. I like it. It's not like perfect, but it's good.
Okay.
I love the wings. I love the wings. I like the torso. I think it's just the head bit. I think it's a little off for me.
I think I'm gonna be on the opposite, and I actually don't think I like it.
Yeah.
I think I like his original suit more.
Mm-hmm.
I think I like the wings. I would agree with that. I think I like the wings. But I think that's the only thing I kind of like. I'm not a big fan of the suit. Maybe but I also think it looked kind of weird looking. Like it looked a little bit too bulky maybe for him. Right. Like a little bit too big. It maybe a little smaller size might have been fine. And I'm with you. I kind of don't like that headpiece. They need to do something with that. But other than that, yeah, it was okay. I think Wanda has like my favorite suit. I think like especially like going from the comics to it's just done so well. It translates so well.
Yeah, I think one of the good things about this series is that they'll take input between content and like adjust outfits and stuff, and they never feel really like a big need to explain. It's just like, hey, they changed up, they upgraded and stuff. So that's like, I mean, they did that with the original Captain America a lot. Like every single movie, they just like did little tweaks to his costume, just based on what people were saying about it.
You remember Captain America in like Infinity War? I really like the way he looks in that. His suit like black in that one, right?
Yeah,
I like that one.
So overall, is there anything else? Anything else to talk about?
Let's see. Is there any surprises? Anything that really surprised you during watching? Something you weren't expecting?
I wasn't expecting to like Zemo as much as I did. I wasn't expecting Julia Louis-Dreyfus to show up. I didn't expect them to make John Walker like a compelling character. I didn't expect Captain America to decapitate a dude. I didn't expect Isaiah Bradley to show
America. Huh? You didn't expect who to show
up?
I
didn't expect Isaiah Bradley to show up.
I didn't expect the Wakandans to show up.
Yeah, that's another thing. Yeah, I think there's a good amount of unexpected stuff in this show.
I wasn't expecting the plot itself, like the whole GRC thing. I wasn't expecting that.
Definitely.
I think you hit all. I actually wasn't expecting Sharon Carter. Like, it's not even like she was completely out of my memory. But like, I obviously knew who she was as soon as she showed up. But I definitely wasn't expecting.
Yeah, I saw her in one of the trailers. So
I wasn't expecting coming out of the show liking it as much as I do. So that's a plus for the showrunners,
right?
Yeah. Overall, I think it was a pretty good show. What
no,
are you about to say?
Nothing.
You sure?
No, I'm good.
Go ahead.
I just read something.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I think I got most of my thoughts out there. I thought it was good fun with some problems, just like WandaVision.
All right, so here's the question. Maybe you want to say this for something else, but we could ask it here. Do you think it's better than WandaVision?
They're so different, dude. WandaVision was so good for like it was really good. There was some
pretty good.
There was some problems in it, like towards the back 20% maybe of the show.
Mm-hmm.
But I think on the whole, like it was. I don't know. The writing in it was really good. But the writing's really good here too. Huh.
Yeah, I think this show has a little better closure than WandaVision.
Yeah, I think that was one of WandaVision's biggest flaws was that like it didn't have a very good like wrap up. It didn't really like close all the issues that it started with Wanda and how like her character and stuff. But I think Falcon and Winter Soldier has more like big picture problems where it tries to do a lot and some of its storylines aren't as effective. I think overall WandaVision got its big theme down really well. Well, I think WandaVision is a show that's... Yeah, sorry, go on. I'm talking too much.
I was going to say, I still like Flash Smashers more than I like FBI Guy.
Yeah, I don't know if you can... The thing is, Flag Smashers was supposed to be the main villains. Hayward was just like a fucking side like obstacle. It's really weird because
Hayward is the Sharon Carter of the...
If you really want to make comparisons, I guess you could say that.
Okay.
I think that's
that
the thing.
Me really want a comparison.
It's hard to compare these shows. I mean, WandaVision was a show that was really based around its theme of like grief. I think that's like the main thing that WandaVision was supposed to be about, and I think it did it really well. Whereas this show is mainly based around character arcs, and I think like pretty much all the character arcs they were trying to do within the span of the show were done really well. So it's really just about the problems that they both have, and I don't know if I could choose between them, honestly.
Okay, that's fair.
They both have. That's what I'm saying. They're both good at what they want to do, but they have problems aside.
Yeah, like what happened to Fake Vision, or New Vision.
I mean, that's not a problem with that show. I don't consider that.
I don't consider it a problem either. But it's just
That's
so much.
obviously just something they left.
What? Who is Quicksilver? Why is he boner? What is that?
I'd say it's probably a downside of that show. Yeah, I don't know if I could rank them against each other. Just because of how different they are and the different things they're trying to do and the different kinds of show they are. I had fun watching it. I was really invested. I gotta say, especially in like the middle bit, like the episodes like 3, 4, and 5 were just 5.
We're on 6, right? This is
yeah.
6
I'm just trying to remember 5. Most of 5. The episodes 3 and 4 were like that middle bit was so good, dude. I was so invested, and I want to I want to think like, is that supposed to be pointing me towards Zemo? I don't know.
Fucking Zemo.
He was great. Oh
So
my God.
great.
Yeah, those are all my thoughts on the show. It was fun.
Yeah, it was fun.
I'm really excited to see what they're doing with these characters in the future. So that's a good thing.
Speaking of which, have you watched the Shang-Chi?
The trailer? No, I haven't.
I haven't either, but a lot of people were liking it. I think I saw like a little quick scene, and it was a fight scene, and I was like, this looks like some some old school kung fu shit, and I was like, I love that shit. If that's the route they're taking with that movie,
Maybe
it's a movie, right, or is it a show?
It's a movie.
Okay, yeah. If they're taking that route with the movie, I'm like, yeah, I'm totally in. Because it sort of feels like his own thing. Like, it doesn't feel like it's in the Marvel universe at all.
Which is great. That's what I'm loving about their new stuff. They're trying new things all the time.
Yeah.
Even with this show, you think, like, this one, WandaVision was really different. And this one, you think, like, maybe it's going to stick more to, like, how like the Marvel themes, but they did a lot of neat themes relating to,
being black in America.
Yeah, that was the main thing. But also stuff like how veterans are treated. That was kind of like a subtle theme in both Isaiah Bradley and John Walker. And how refugees are treated. Yeah.
Yeah,
there were some neat themes that they touched upon that I don't think we would have gotten in older Marvel shows. So I'm really happy that they're being allowed to tackle that kind of stuff.
It is so weird looking at like WandaVision and this, and even like more modern, like Black Panther and like Infinity War and stuff like that. Looking at these movies compared to like older Marvel movies, and just like, wow, they're just on some two totally different things, but they all make sense within they all connect, obviously, but it's like, it's still weird to see how much they have developed, writing these stories.
Yep. So,
looking forward to Loki.
Oh, yeah, definitely. That's 2 weeks, I think. That's going to be starting. I think they're going to do another, like, week break. Would you keep it on an A tier on our tier list?
Yeah, I would say low A. I still enjoyed it enough to...
I would say low A as well, yeah.
Yeah, I still enjoyed it enough to say that it deserves A.
Yep. It dipped a bit in this episode, but it's still A. There was a lot of stuff I liked in this episode, but it also had some problems. But I think a lot of the problems I saw in this episode were more like the show is over, and I'm looking back as a whole, and this episode was... I was looking at this episode to improve on things I wasn't enjoying as much in the show, and it didn't quite hit that, but hey, it was fun. Fun show. Fun show.
Agreed. What's after Loki?
Black Widow is coming out, I think.
Okay.
And then after that, maybe Shang-Chi. I don't really remember. They might have mixed up the dates and stuff, though, like they always do.
Gonna be so weird for me.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be a fucking weird movie
because I'm like
so long.
I'm like, should I care enough to actually invest in time in the characters and stuff?
Yeah, because it's all in the past. But I completely forgot to mention that I think Valentina's character was supposed to originally appear in Black Widow first, because that movie was supposed to come out before the show. I think she was originally supposed to
Oh,
first appear there.
that's weird.
Yeah, so she might still be in that movie, which is interesting.
That is interesting. That's weird though. Now I have to go with like it's like a different perspective because I was like, oh, that's like, and I was like, oh, that's the character from not Captain Marvel, shit, from Black Widow.
Yeah.
See, the reason I said Captain Marvel, that wasn't just me like headcanon, is because I think Black Widow is going to go the same route with how I feel about Captain Marvel. With this is cool movie, but it's like since it is before everything, it's like where like why would I care or why should I care?
Yeah.
But I mean, they brought Captain Marvel back around with WandaVision with her daughter, so that was cool.
Yep.
So
more of her.
Yeah.
There's also something I heard about Secret Invasion. Like more actors were announced for. I think Emilia Clarke is going to be in Secret Invasion. She played Daenerys in Game of Thrones.
I know Emilia.
Yeah, okay. Just making sure. But I think she's going to be in Secret Invasion. And like
we don't know who, but we just know she's gonna be in it.
They announced like a few actors for it, and it's like Kevin Feige said something about it being like a big, like huge Marvel event, and it's like, oh, maybe I should take that more seriously now.
Secret Invasion was pretty big in the comics too, right?
And it did involve Valentina. She was involved in Secret Invasion, I think.
I heard that. What's our lady name who played Wanda?
Elizabeth Olsen.
Yeah, she spoke on Doctor Strange too, and she was saying like it was like some horror movie type horror show type shit, and I was oh, I'm so down for that.
Yeah, I mean they got Sam Raimi to direct it, so
yeah, that's crazy. That's so crazy.
Pretty cool. I'm excited for that. I think they mentioned that when they announced it, like it's gonna be like a big Marvel horror show, but it's also I still like am holding a hope it's gonna be like a big crossover event as well. It's gonna be that's gonna be a crazy movie. I hope it's well deserving of its title.
I kind of low key hope it's long too. I hope it's a long movie.
Hopefully,
and I hope it's not like a drag on movie.
Yeah, like Infinity War.
Oh, God, I love that movie.
It's a good one.